Alright, so this episode is sponsored by the people for Cthulhu for President 2020. So, after last episode, I sat down, which was only a few seconds ago, and looked and was like, oh crap, you can actually read that. Like I said in the previous video, new camera, so I no longer have a monitor within arm's reach. So that when I sat and looked at it, oh, you can clearly see that the pile is Friday the 13th. So this is the official Friday the 13th special. Could be a little longer. It'll be a lot longer than the previous one because that was like 10 minutes. But so let's just get on it. So Friday the 13th. This is the Kill 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 uncut edition, as it says on the back. It's also unrated, which means that in the US, it is an NC-17 film. And this came out in 1980. I wasn't yet to be born. But Jason doesn't show up in this until the very end when he pops out. So Pamela goes around and kills everybody. And the film, there's scenes of this film that were shot at a Boy Scout camp called Nobi Bosco. And then they found it was a horror film and they went, no. And kicked them out. So I don't know how much of the film was that was filmed in Nobi Bosco was actually used. So I don't know if any of it's there or if it's a couple scenes. So I don't know how much was actually used there. And by the way, Nobi Bosco is a camp in New Jersey. So, the sequel follows the girl that survived, and she goes back, and now she's being chased by actual Jason Voorhees, who in the sequel, which this is not the uncut version, so. This is 1981 and it's rated R, by the way. It's not uncut. This is what I was getting at. I don't know if there actually is an uncut version to that. Jason comes back in that one and he's got a mask on him. It's a bag. It's a wicker, not a wicker. If you had a wicker bag, that would be very difficult to call it a bag because it would be a bucket bag, essentially. So he has a wicker. Again. He has a sack on his head with an eye, with a hole cut out for the eye. I believe that it is his right eye is there, that the left eye is covered up. And then at some point through shooting, they heard that I think it was in Texas, there was a guy running around with a bag over his head killing people with a butcher knife. And they went, shh, we gotta change that. But we don't want to refilm everything, so then they film the scene where he picks up the mask and puts the hockey mask on. Okay. So, Friday the 13th, 3D. And this is old school 3D. Not like now where it's shot. Well, hold on. Let me just. These are the 3D glasses. This is what I mean by it's old school 3D. And the sides just have blood gore thing, right? Now with the older version of 3D. But anyway, the final chapter, number 4. It's called the final chapter because it was supposed to be the last film. That was supposed to be it. Jason dies in it. Legit dead. Buried in the ground. End of game. Then some years later, someone decided that, Jason can't die. Friday the 13th, Part 5. A New Beginning. In the previous film, 4, the final chapter, Tommy Jarvis kills him by chopping off part of his head. Then that actually sets up for the next film, which is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Because they dig his body up. Essentially, it's to prove that Jason is dead. Tommy goes and digs his corpse up, and then, they have a metal pole and they go right to the heart, and they're doing that as they're just getting to the casket. It's raining now. That gets hit. There's a metal bar sticking out of the ground. Lightning strikes it, and it revives Jason, who goes on a murderous rampage, as one would expect. Come on. He was sleeping. You woke him up. He's pissed off now. Shame on you. So anyway, we get to 7, The New Blood. This one's shit. This one's just shit. Really nothing to talk about. I totally forgot what it was about, so I had to sit here and read this. Telekinesis girl is fighting. The girl with telekinesis is going to fight Jason Voorhees. This is less horror, less slasher, more of a superhero film. And it's a shitty superhero film. However, speaking of shit, this piece of dookie is the worst film in the entire Friday the 13th franchise. People shit on Jason X. This is worse. This is a hell of a lot worse. Jason Takes Manhattan is the worst film in the entire franchise. I can't say it enough. Okay. Jason walks on the bottom of the Crystal Lake into a stream and walks all the way into Manhattan Harbor and then walks up into Manhattan to chase after a bunch of teenagers who are on a boat. And he kills them in Manhattan. This is an example of when directors and producers and writers try to do something new and fresh to it, and they fucking fail. Horribly fail. That killed the franchise until they decide, we're going to try to do something new. We're going to try to do... what we're going to do is in the next film, which was years later, many years later, we're going to try to do a crossover. Freddy Krueger versus Jason Voorhees. Okay. How are we going to do this? So they do this whole setup. And that's called Jason Goes to Hell. This is actually the first Friday the 13th film I've ever seen. And that's how I saw it. I bought the DVD and watched it. That was the first time I ever saw a Friday the 13th film. It's like the Saw version of Friday the 13th. That one's just really gruesome. There's a part where the guy eats Jason's heart, and now he's Jason. And then somebody else kills that person, they eat that guy's flesh, and now he's Jason. That's a power Jason's never had before. But then again, no one's ever been able to do an autopsy on him. So anyway, Jason's supposed to die. At the very end, his mask is sitting there in the dirt, and Freddy's hand comes out, pulls it down, and you hear him laughing. That's supposed to set up for Jason 10. Jason versus Freddy. Problem is that movie just, it's two different companies own two, like the rights to the films are owned by different people, different groups. They couldn't agree. I really do assume that they just refused to say who would win, because I'm lending you my property. I want it to look good. I don't want Miramax having the thing and them just destroying the character or going, no. Jason is not afraid of water. Oh, no, we need him to be afraid of water. He's got to have a weakness. Jason's weakness is his mother. Yeah, but that's not going to work in the script. Ah, fuck you people, we're not doing it. And so they wound up just doing nothing about it. Until like 15 years later. But we're going to get into a lot later. That's in a completely different episode. Because the next one in the Friday the 13th franchise is this film. Really, Jason X is a really bad horror film. It is, however, a good science fiction action film. That's more on the veins of Alien, or Aliens, but not really a slasher. There's a cyborg that has guns that's action movie stuff, and it takes place on a distant planet. It's science fiction. It's a shitty horror film, but a good science fiction action film. There's one left in this franchise. The reboot. This is an issue. This movie has an issue. And the issue is that people ask too many damn questions. Well, how the hell does he get around? How is Jason getting from this cabin to this cabin and over here to all these different places really quick? That movie explains it. You take out all the mystery from it. You give out too much information and you can't enjoy it. You can't, there's nothing intellectual for you to do. Oh, well, how? Maybe he's got supernatural speed. Or maybe the camp is actually really small. There's nothing for you to discuss. You can't come up with theories because they tell you everything about it. So I did not like the fact that Jason has sit underneath the building, underneath the entire camp, built tunnels to every single building. I also don't like how the fact that 90% of the film don't even take place in Camp Crystal Lake. It takes place on the opposite side of Crystal Lake. It's a lake. They're over here. Crystal Lake Camp is here. That's where Jason hangs out. Why is Jason attacking people on a different place? That doesn't even make sense to me. And then you do have this problem of Jared Pilanski, whatever his name is, from Supernatural. The guy has been playing Sam Winchester for about 20 years. He only plays Sam. Even in the movie, it was Sam Winchester. Instead of Sam looking for his older brother, he's looking for his younger sister. He's still playing a brother. There's no stretch there. It was shitty. Of the Supernatural brother, of the Winchester brothers, that's the worst one of the film. Of those. I have not seen the remake of House of Wax yet, but that the guy that plays Dean, I don't remember his name, he's in that, but he's also in another film that's going to be discussed in a future video. And of those three films, of the two that I've seen with the Winchester brothers, the other one was he does better acting when he's not playing Dean. His role, the character in that film, was much different from this guy. I don't even remember what the character's name is because the entire time I was going, it's Sam Winchester. No, I have no idea it's Sam Winchester. They could have called him Prince Devitt. I would go, no, it's Sam Winchester. Because it's not only that's how I know the actor, it's because I watched that guy act that character for 7 years. I stopped watching after a while, but it's about 7 years of watching him as the same character, then watching him in this film, basically being the identical, like a cousin of that character. So it ruined it didn't ruin the film, but it brought it down. If I was going to rate it, it would have got dropped 3 scores because of his acting in it. That, despite the fact that there's one DVD sitting here that still is in the F's. That's going to be saved for the next episode because it's not Friday the 13th related. So, if you liked it, thumbs up, comment section. If any questions, comments, concerns, maybe you want to know what the hell Cthulhu is, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to donate to the channel, you can do that on my Patreon, and the links will be in the description. That's me making a little tornado. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.